Well, what is happening, people? How is everyone doing on this wonderful, wonderful Friday in Chicago? Yes, for me, it was the first day of official school. So it was great to see staff members that I hadn't seen in a while. It was great to see students, everybody completely masked up, safety protocols all in place because that's just what we have to do in this age of COVID. Believe it or not, but you have to believe it because that is exactly what is going on. And so keep that in mind, people. We are in some dangerous times and definitely need to be aware of what's happening and what's going on. So excited to be here. Please say a prayer for my guest who was to be on. He got into an accident on his way to take care of some business to be on this show today. So, Geno Pacino, if you're out there, brother, we are praying for you that you are safely where you need to be and that you're okay. If you need anything, of course, you can reach out directly to me. These things, life just happens. And so I was talking to my team recently to let them know that life is always going to happen. So here we have a guest who was coming on, but had an unfortunate incident on his way here. He's not harmed, he's not injured, but it was enough to slow him down for him not to hold fast to being here on today. So definitely want to wish my man Geno Pacino well. If he's able to join, he will, but I just told him prioritize what he has to do to take care of his business for right now. So if you're wondering where one of the busiest, hardest working MCs in Chicago is, he's taking care of some business that just came up for him. And so still appreciate him for desiring to be here in the studio with me. So thanks for that. What else is going on in the world, people? Chicago always has a lot going on, and those are the things that we typically talk about on this show. Would like to thank my guest from last week, Alderman David Moore, for coming on to talk about his bid for the Illinois Secretary of State position. So I definitely appreciate that. Him being here, him coming on to talk to the people of Chicago. I think he has a good chance here, folks. I mean that sincerely. Like, I really think this dude can pull it off. He may not have the war chest that Alexei Janolius has. He may not have the influence that Anna Valencia has, but he definitely has his name all throughout Illinois, not just in African-American communities, but also in Latino and Caucasian communities throughout the state. And I think that'll be huge for him when he pulls this off. I think it'll be one of the sentiments that it takes more than money to hold a public office. You have to have a connection with the people. And that's not to say that the other folks don't. Alexei Janolius is very known. And it's very liked, as a matter of fact, as well as Anna Valencia. So we will see where things go for them. What else is happening that I can talk to about? Well, not sure if you all know, a CPD lieutenant in February of 2021 is accused of shoving a flashlight close to the rectum of a juvenile carjacking suspect. Lieutenant Wilfredo Roman is out on bond and able to continue working while his investigation continues. Something's going on. Like, I know that the Police Accountability Review Board has been very active in investigating cases of abuse of power by the Chicago Police Department. A couple of officers this week have been charged with punching another suspect, juvenile suspect, in an unrelated incident. So I will save my responses, I typically try to do, for my closeout. So we'll just hold that there for now. Tragic death at a Chase Bank, pretty much close to downtown Chicago. Jessica Valathong, a Chase Bank employee, was stabbed in the neck yesterday. It's reported today that she has passed away. They do have a suspect in custody. What is happening, people? I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Folks are losing their mind. Mental health is real, and there are issues out there, and there are people with them. So I'm hoping that her family will find. I don't know what they're going to find. I just want to pray for them, that they are at peace and that they hold on to the great memories that they had with Jessica while she was here in this realm with us. And so want to encourage them to keep things moving. The pandemic is also full steam ahead. We have several variants out. We've got Delta, we've got Lambda. I think there's another one. And then we still have the regular COVID-19 virus that is out there wreaking havoc. I spoke to someone today today who has breakthrough COVID, as well as her husband and one of the children in their house. And so COVID is real. It's out there, people. I'm a bit hesitant to do a lot of things. I don't go out to public events that much. I do have an event coming up this Sunday. I do have church on Sunday, do have an event coming up this Sunday. But yeah, there's a lot going on. So with that being said, schools are open. And how we approach the pandemic is going to be interesting, but we're using every safety protocol that Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago board has put together for us to follow. And then, of course, we have our own additives in there. And so there has been a boost in employment due to COVID because you need more people to take care of things like maintenance. And so that's what's happening in the world of Chicago. And some of the things we know. The pandemic is all over. We know that. We know that there are places where people don't believe in vaccinations. They don't believe in wearing masks. But do y'all know what's going on in Texas? Texas, what y'all doing, man? What are y'all doing? So Texas has banned abortion after 6 weeks. Now, let me make this statement. I am a Christian. I am as pro-life as they get. I believe that every life is important. I'm pro-life and I'm pro-living. But I also respect the woman's right to dictate what happens with her body because there are no laws dictating what a man can do to his body. So that's not equity. Again, hear me. I don't like abortion. I've gone through an abortion myself in my younger years. It's a lifelong regret, even though I had nothing to do or say about it. And when I found out the child was already aborted, didn't even know. And so I get it. I understand. But I also respect the woman's right to govern her own body. There are no laws governing the body of a man. And guess what? When there are, men typically get off for it. Lest I remind you of a young man who raped a woman while she was drunk and he only got 6 months in prison. Maybe that was because he's white, but regardless, yeah, he should have something done. Like he should be castrated for the rest of his life. If not physically, then medically. He should be castrated. He should lose the privilege of ever being able to have intercourse again because he raped a woman. But there are no laws governing the male body. So in my opinion, there should be no laws governing the female body. I know that's very controversial. I know some of you may say, oh, he can't be a Christian if he believes that. Yeah, you trash, whatever. Those are just the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. As we look at this, though, something else Texas has done. They have passed a law that you no longer have to have a permit to carry a gun. So this sounds like to me the return to the wild, wild west. So I want to get this straight. We want to protect life in the womb. With all the gun violence going on around America, and Texas is y'all ain't y'all not free from that. I know what goes on in Texas, just like it goes on in every other state. But you all pass a law that you don't have to have a permit to carry a gun. So you're pro-life for the unborn, but you're not pro-life for the living. Where I come from, that's hypocrisy. The people who are pro-life, again, I'm with you. I believe in the preservation of life. I believe in the preservation of inception. I got that. That's part of my belief system. But the flip side to this is you don't want to be vaccinated. You don't want to wear a mask. You just want to live life like there's no pandemic out there. But you say you're pro-life. But you'll cough on someone. You'll accuse someone of being pro-vaccinations. But you see the confusion y'all cause? That's the problem with this law. And if Texas is able to do it, and the Supreme Court has a vote of 5-4, not to pull the ban back of abortion, what do you think every other state's going to do now? See, this is playing up to the next election, people. Y'all got to pay attention to the spiritual realm and what's going on. This is playing up for the next election. They're doing everything that they can to pimp the religious vote. These same people have a foot on your neck. These same people, and I don't care if they Democrat or Republican, continue to give big tax breaks to big corporations. Big Pharma making a killing right now. Make no mistake about it. But all of this is leading up to the next election to ensure that the Republican Party once again regains White House access. That's all this is about. This is not the preservation of life. Because if it was the preservation of life, we'd be doing more to end prison recidivism. We'd be doing more to put trades back in schools for our young people. We'd be doing more to ensure that people who are in prison are being educated so when they get out, they don't want to come back, that they're empowered. If we were pro-life, we'd be doing more to ensure that businesses don't lock out people who don't have major criminal records. Now, if you done murdered like 10 people, first of all, you probably shouldn't be out of jail. Let's just call that what it is. You probably should stay in there. But for those who have lesser crimes, right? If you committed armed robbery, you probably not going to get a job at a bank. I'm just going to say, you probably won't get a job at a bank. But I bet you can make phone calls to that bank while you're in prison and not get paid for it while the bank making money on it. Yeah, think about that. So if people were actually pro-life, y'all, they definitely would do something about it. But they're not, because they really don't care. They're using, again, religion. And by the way, Texas, what about that power grid? Y'all awfully quiet on that. Yeah, Governor, people died, froze to death on your watch, pal. Oh, but you pro-life. Just want to check. Come on, Texas, get it together. Y'all bigger, better, and smarter than that. Do not be used. All right? This is your boy, Tony Briscoe. Just wanted to come in. You know, when you go live, you have to go live. You can't back out of it. So I wanted to talk to you all just for a moment. Elections that are coming up next year. Do not forget first congressional runs, and do not forget the Illinois Secretary of State position that is open as well. We're reaching out to those candidates this week who are running for Congress again this time to see if I can get them on, and maybe for TB Lives on Be in the Mix first. Public debate. I think we can do that. I think we can make that happen with no problem. All right. So what are my closing thoughts on the alleged abuse of power by the Chicago Police Department as of late? The citizens of Chicago are not at war. We are under siege. See, when you're at war, you're able to fight back. You're able to defend yourself. We don't necessarily have that option per se in Chicago as citizens. We are under siege to gang violence and gun warfare. What do I mean by that? If you have concealed carry, it's very unlikely that you will be able to defend yourself while you have a gun on you. And the chance that you may get to respond with a firearm, you may end up, unfortunately, like a retired firefighter who was able to return fire, but he also succumbed to his wounds in that incident. So the citizens of Chicago, we are not at war. We are under siege. Now, the Chicago Police Department is bound by a code of ethics. They are not allowed to retaliate. That's what gangs do. They are not allowed to respond emotionally. That's what gangs do. They are not allowed to act inhumane. That's what gangs do. They are not allowed to act outside of the bounds of the laws. That's what gangs do. Now, we're not talking about the Jason Van Dykes who put 16 bullets into the body of Laquan McDonald. Not talking about him. We're not talking about the Burges who get a slap on the wrist for tying up electric rods to the genitals of Black men to force them into false confessions, lead to them spending years in prison and tons of prosecutorial misconduct and mayoral misconduct that was never, ever brought to the surface. What am I saying? If your citizens are under the threat of domestic terrorism, which gang violence is, which carjackings are, if your citizens are under this type of domestic terrorism, you cannot fight an enemy like that of citizens without an elite squad that's allowed to do their job and handle their business. Now, I know that's a thin line, folks. Wait a minute, Tony, you just said you're a Christian, but you also just said that you cannot fight urban warfare without having people who can engage urban warfare. I mean what I say, and I said what I mean. It's a problem when our kids can't even sleep in their house without bullets flying through the window. My daughter found a bullet about a month ago outside that hit our house. Thank God it didn't come through a window. It hit our family. But in gang warfare, yeah, you need a task force who can move. Now, I'm not talking about bringing on Vic Mackey from the Shield and his team of illegal drug dealers who stole money from the Armenian mob and all this other stuff that happened on TV. But I do believe that our police officers, and I'm not defending all police officers, let's make that clear. I do believe that our police officers have a job to do. And I believe that we have laws in place that make it very hard for them to do their jobs. Because everybody's screaming about the police, but there's nobody screaming about these gangs. And part of me understands why. There's a retaliation fear. Because the police departments and the state's attorney's office, you testify against these gang members, you're not protected by them after the trial is over. It's open season on you. So they do need to correct that problem with the community. The community is silent, not because we want to be. We're silent because we don't trust the system. But what I'm saying is, if you want our citizens to walk these streets freely, if you want our citizens to be able to drive on the Dan Ryan Expressway and Lakeshore Drive freely, something has to be done and a message needs to be sent. Now, I'm not in law enforcement. I'm not qualified enough to say who needs to be sent or what needs to happen. Or Tony, what does it mean if you allow someone to operate without malice? What does it mean if you just let somebody have control like this? Look, what I'm saying is, I want our kids to live. 12,794 students are under my care. I want them all to live. And I want them all to live by any means necessary. And if that means that a bad element in our community has to disappear to make that happen, I'm not going to feel bad for thinking about it that way. Because I understand what warfare is. We just lost 16 Marines in Afghanistan. May God rest their souls. I don't want to lose another child. I don't want to lose another student. I don't want to lose my own child. I lost my nephew in June of 2020 to gun violence. I don't want to see another child gone. These are the things that we should be talking to our aldermen about. These are the things we should be talking to our mayor about. Y'all don't want to wear a mask. Y'all don't want to be vaccinated. Y'all want to fight over who's wearing a mask and who's not vaccinated. I want to fight for these kids so they don't become a victim of the biggest pandemic that has rocked America since its inception. Gun violence. We got to stop it. What say you, Chicago? It's your boy, Tony Briscoe. Thank you for tuning in to Tony Briscoe Live. I hope you all have an amazing week. I hope you all have an amazing Labor Day. If you see a student, just bless them. If they find what you praying for them or praying with them, pray with them, but do it at 6 feet distance with a mask on, please. But hey, it's your boy Tony Briscoe. I'm out of here. My man Geno Pacino, brother, we'll get you back on. I hope you're well with the emergency that came up for you, man. You keep your head up, you keep shining, you keep grinding, and you keep doing what you are doing. I'm out of here. Peace, family. Love you, brother Dotson.